You can get your tickets now for the Progressive 50-50 in support of the Neepawa Curling Club and the Yellowhead Center by scanning the QR code on your screen now. The final draw will be February 12th at 3:45. Tickets are 1 for $3, 2 for $5, 5 for $10, or 12 for $20.
Curling in the small town part of Manitoba is really big in the winter. It's something for the community to do, and it really brings the community together. We can hold annual events like our bonspiels and our weekly nights. It's really something to do for everyone in the community and can do it from any age.
You can win a pair of tickets for the 2023 Tim Hortons Brier in London or the 2023 BKT Tires and OK Tire Men's Worlds in Ottawa, plus $500. Or maybe equip your team with a set of 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes. And at the same time, support the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum and Curl Manitoba's Curling for Life Endowment Fund. Raffle tickets are available now. 1 for $5, 4 for $10, 10 for $20. Buy online at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen right now. Well, here we are back in Neepawa, Manitoba, Friday morning, the third day of competition in the 2023 Viterra Men's Curling Championship. We're down to 16 teams. We started with 32 teams on Wednesday. First half of the field has been eliminated over 2 days of play through the double knockout competition. 8 more teams will be eliminated as we go through the day today. We'll be down to effectively the 8-team championship round. The playoff round begins tonight at 7:45. 4 games on the ice this morning. The winners will qualify. They'll be the first 4 qualifiers into that final field of 8. The losers will drop into games at 4 o'clock, and the winners at that time will be the other 4 teams. So all these teams on the ice this morning will have 2 chances to qualify into the final field of 8. They are the top 5 seeds. On top of that, they are the next 3, I think, generally acknowledged coming into the competition, that these 8 might have been the final 8. So we'll see if all 8 of these can qualify today. 4 of them win this morning, they're in. The other 2 are going to have to drop to the B-side and then a win later today. My name's Resby Coots. I'm in Neepawa with Viterra grain buyer and self-acknowledged curling expert. Nah, I overstate. He doesn't brag real loud about that side of things, but he does brag real loud about being a huge curling fan, and you'll see that today as we go through these games. Ray Ballone, thanks very much for coming back. I was afraid after yesterday you might not want anything to do with me.
Well, I kept watching the text if you're going to fire me, but I guess I'm back. I'm happy to be here.
So we have, as I said in the introduction, we've got, now we're down to where the real bonspiel starts, really, Ray. With no disrespect intended to the 16 teams who've been eliminated, most of them came here probably expecting that they, probably hoping to be playing this morning and or sometime today as their reward for the competition. And but we are down to more of the quality teams.
Yep, we're getting to the best of the best.
So our game will be the game between Reed Carruthers, effectively the defending champion team. Of course, defending champion Mike McEwen was the skip. Carruthers at third. Derek Semagalski at second, Colin Hodgson at lead. Semagalski and Carruthers curling with Connor Negevin on a 3-person team. The Jason Gunlickson had been with the team throughout much of the season, but there was a split. Jason stepping back a little bit from the sport, and so these guys are playing with 3. Semagalski and Carruthers would love to win, obviously, to go to the Brier, but it would also be a reunion, Ray, with Mike McEwen, who has won Ontario, and with Colin Hodgson, who has won Northern Ontario. So it would be kind of fun if the defending Manitoba champion team was all there playing for 3 different provinces.
Curling in Canada is like a big family, and that's exactly a reunion. I know yesterday I asked Reed, I knew at the very start if he needed me to spare. I knew he only had 3 people, and he certainly thought he didn't need me.
Well, see, now I'm going to have to say I must rank higher in his mind because he did say to me, "Have you got your shoes with you?" So I took that as an inference that he was at least interested enough to let me think that he would even consider such a thing.
There's a country song about those shoes are made for walking. He might have been telling me something else.
Well, here we have an early instance of the center line no tick rule being in play. The yellow stone, the IRWIN stone, removes that Carruthers guard touching the center line, and after a little consultation, and nice to see, Ray, that no need for the official to be involved. Certainly, official Ken Rutter right at the end of the sheet and had his eye on the situation, but the 2 guys made the decision, and that's so much the tradition of the sport, isn't it?
It is a gentleman's game.
Wait. Got room.
Now, let's be honest, Reed Carruthers might have looked at Steve IRWIN and said, a guy this size, I'm not so sure that we want to get too rambunctious about it.
All the security guys are still sleeping today.
So we see Carruthers has got a couple of stones up into the top of the 4-foot circle, and there is that long center guard halfway into the rings. IRWIN's going to try to go around it, tap one rock back out through the 4-foot.
Looks really heavy though. Yeah. Hard.
These are the A-side games. This time he chips the guard off, and it's okay. It was the 6th rock of the end, so that makes that aspect of it legal. The A-side games, all 8 teams here on the ice are undefeated. Far sheet A, we see Riley Smith, his team from the Thistle Curling Club, playing Ryan Weeb from the Fort Rouge, 2 of the young aspiring teams in the competition. Beside them, we see a pair of former Manitoba junior champions, Matt Dunstone, Brett Walter. Matt has gained a lot. He's just that little bit older. He's had more experience out on the tour and so on. He's represented Saskatchewan, curled in Saskatchewan for 2 or 3 years, back home in Manitoba. Here right in front of us on sheet D, the former world junior champion, Braden Calvert. And he's playing Corey Chambers. That's the 4 and 5 seeds in the competition. So all 8 undefeated. These should be very good games this morning. Carruthers replaces the guard. IRWIN, it's a little tighter to the ring, so IRWIN's got a closer attention to detail to get past, but again rubs the guard. Carruthers, in fact, does not have last rock, so he's in excellent position here to maybe steal a couple on the opening end. Carruthers on his draw to the button, forehammer was full 8-foot, almost touching the 4-foot circle. IRWIN not quite covering the pinhole, but certainly a good chunk of the 4-foot.
Line's good. Clean. No, clean. Clean.
Another example, Ray, of the 3-man team. We saw one yesterday. It's just it's not normal yet, but it's certainly becoming, I guess, more acceptable.
Yeah, they can have advantages of the three-man team, and it counterbalances any disadvantage. I think you come out pretty even. Cheaper on meals.
So the guard is replaced. A couple of guards now on the 2 rocks in the forefoot. Travis Taylor comes at this from the left-hander's in-turn perspective. He'll get past the guard and does make the contact that IRWIN's been looking for some time. Pushes that second stone out through the back of the rings. And Carruthers really is going all out for a steal here. He's got 2 guards, shot stone. Looking for another guard.
Little bit.
Tight.
Lines good.
Tight.
Okay, stay with it. Go to the nose.
Yep.
Line.
Beauty.
I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, he will be happy with that. He was really calling the guard, but he got a little bit to the inside of that yellow stone, so any effort now to tap, remove the red stone, leaves the yellow vulnerable. So, in fact, he's going to try to go to the far side. We haven't seen this shot yet. The left-hander throwing his out turn, try to navigate that port. It's a relatively narrow port.
It'll be tight. Yep. Yep. Take a line. Come on, guys.
And a real snap curl there as it hit the hog line. Curls over, touches, fills the hole.
It's tough though. Over here, right? I don't think so. Okay. You can sit one.
Let's make this.
So we're down to
Love this.
Like this,
skip
Derek?
stones. 3 yellow,
Guard.
3 red have been thrown.
Well,
Well, he's running the yellow regardless.
yeah.
I guess that didn't make any sense at all to anyone
Okay.
listening, including me. 6 red, 6 yellow have been thrown.
Sit one.
I was listening to them, not you this time.
That's a good thing.
You have to get another one in. So let's just go here.
Yeah. This is the best shot. This is the best. We know this. Let's make this. Lob it in the back 4 is good. Here, Rams.
Just outside edge.
14-3, Ram.
I think 14.
Okay.
A little more, Con.
Okay. Derek, full back 8-ish second shot.
A lot of the game is communication, and they have been total communication. They know what each other's doing and thinking.
A lot more time spent on that decision than often is spent on an opening end shot. But there is an opportunity here for Carruthers.
Okay, widest line, Derek. Okay, widest line. Line's good. Okay, your wide path. Line's great. Curl side if anything. No. Line's great. Come on, Derek.
Hard everything.
Come on, Derek. Easy, easy, easy. Easy. No.
Curl.
Just curls, not quite enough to bite the button, but certainly lying 2. IRWIN and his team looking at whether or not they can contact red onto yellow and have any impact on the 2 reds, but it's very likely that the angle is such that they won't contact both reds in the forefoot. But Steve Irwin's going to give it a go. He's got to slide just tight to that center line guard. To use a more modern expression, he'll have a little pace on this one.
It's going to look very different after this shot.
Does clear the guard, does make the contact. In fact, he could get contact on both Reds in the forefoot. Ends up shot stone. But almost wide open for Reed Carruthers. So Carruthers with the opportunity to lie to. At minimum, forces Irwin to take a single point.
The ice has been perfect this week, and when you can have confidence in the ice, that means so much.
Certainly it hasn't been identical game to game, but it's been completely reliable, and that really is what the best curlers want. They want to be able to rely on the ice. So here's the Carruthers tap. He's going to make the contact and push it through, but he will roll out and leaves Irwin the opportunity for the blank. So a bit of a lost opportunity for Carruthers. Had he been able to stick, even with a biter, maybe forces the single. Irwin gets away with the end here because he really was in a fair bit of trouble until Steve Irwin made a very fine shot.
Yes. And that's good to start off the game for them to build that confidence in the ice and in your shots.
A wonderful confidence builder for a skip to be able to make that hit past that tight guard. So it's Irwin's final stone, the left-handers. In turn, he does bang it out, rolls away. Blanked first end here in Neepawa at center sheet. We'll be back, end number 2, in just a moment.
We hope you're enjoying this Manitoba Championship Sunrise Morning Draw, brought to you by Sunrise Credit Union. Building a brighter future together.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canada Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canada Inn's. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadainns.com.
Where can you find handmade pizza, classic burgers, scrumptious salads, the finest Manitoba-sourced fried chicken, and so much more? Chicken Chef, bring your appetite. We'll take care of the rest.
Curl Manitoba is proudly sponsored by Manitoba Pork, locally grown, globally preferred.
Well, we're back in the Neepawa Arena. Reed Carruthers attempting to make a tap back stick to force Irwin to a single point. It rolled off with his last stone. Left Steve Irwin and his Brandon team the opportunity to blank the end. They did, and so the game is scoreless after the opening end. Reed Carruthers places the long center guard with his first rock. Irwin asks Travis Sabin to go right around it. Looking at the other scoreboards in these opening games, winners advancing to the playoff round. Braden Calvert scores a deuce on the opening end to lead Corey Chambers 2-0. Matt Dunstone scores a 3 on the opening end to lead Brett Walter 3-0. And Riley Smith, Ryan Weeb blanked the opening end. So that game, like our game here, the Carruthers-Irwin game, 0-0 playing in the second end. Irwin's draw not quite buried. Connor Negaman is able to get past that high guard, rolls wide to the side. Travis Sabin, out-turn hit, sails right by, opportunity for Carruthers.
That's in or out?
Out.
Bite the ring.
Biting's okay.
Yeah.
This is good. Nibble.
The plan for the end just changed.
The end is going to change tactically. Can often change 2 or 3 times during the end, but certainly this is the first real switch. And you heard that clear communication as we've said throughout the week and through our other streamcasts, the players on the ice are by far the best color commentators, with no offense intended for my colleague, but the simple opportunity to listen to these, particularly now that we've got the more elite group of players, their analysis of the situation. Reed was very definite. I want this to be a guard. We want that pair of guards in front. Biting is okay. So really putting it back 4 foot is, all intents and purposes, a complete miss. Travis Brooks, nicely past the guard, roll to cover the pinhole.
Could kill it with that. Yeah. Yeah. Solid hack.
Yeah, I think so, but I love that ice with a good release. Nice release at it. Halfway. You got it.
So again, affirmation from Connor Negavan that, as we've said a few times, release is the key to making the shot. Nice release, hack weight, you make it. And he does do just that, just cruises past. Guard that far out in front really is not even there. I mean, it's there for you and I, Ray, when we play, but
it's way bigger.
I've told this story many times, and I think of it every time I'm in this situation. I curled in the university days with a dear friend, gone way too soon, Rick Fulton from up in the Bertle area, and Rick, I would be throwing last. Rick would play lead or second for me all the time, and I'd sit in the hack, and he would simply say that guard is nothing but a mental hazard. It's not even there. Mm-hmm. And he was absolutely right. I did hit it a significant number of times anyway, despite his advisory. So.
I like that ice. Yeah, I do think you'll get
A friend I had in Northwest Saskatchewan, she curled in the 1930s, and they would take their own rocks with them. She had one wide rock and one narrow rock.
There are many stories from those days of that kind of scenario. So Samagalski gets the hit, and the rolls a little too far. That pair of red stones, an easy target for IRWIN. But he'll think about drawing to them, try to use them. And he shows you the opportunities there, the 2 choices. One is to rip it, hit the outside edge, spill them both out. The other was the idea of hitting it, rolling in front of the second one. And he really gets neither, hits and rolls away, does stay as a biter, but Carruthers will ask Samagalski to remove it. Yes, in those days when they did haul their own stones, that wide rock was very useful as a guard.
You knew when to play it. That's
That
right.
narrow rock was useful to try to run the port. The key for the opposition was to make you throw your wide rock when you had to go through a port that it wouldn't go through, but the small one would have. So,
Yes.
but it did happen a lot. I still have a pair of rocks, and the rock box belonged to an uncle of mine, and his were famously known as Nip and Tuck, and in fact used red nail polish to, in fact, put their names on those rocks. Tuck was a bit of a cutter, and he could make that rock bury where other teams couldn't get theirs to bury.
They probably had horses with the same names.
He may have done. So Carruthers sticks out there on the edge, or Samogulski does. IRWIN Taylor hits and rolls out. So again, opportunity for Carruthers at the very least to force.
14-2, 14-3.
Very precise.
Yeah, okay. 14-4. Yeah.
14-2, 14-3. Nope, we're going to be 14-4. Trying to draw. Top forefoot buried. Good to see Rob Gordon on the ice, one sheet over. He took a bit of a tumble yesterday, and certainly we were very worried about him. So you don't see these young men go down very often, but he went down hard. Actually landed on a rock.
Okay, line's good.
So my guess is he's got a bruise, but he's out here.
And it bruised his ego a bit too.
I'm sure his friends, once they knew he was okay, had a lot of fun with him. So this is the Carruthers draw. Needs the late curl, the late bury.
That's okay. Great shot.
And is fully buried, maybe over curled a touch. Everyone will follow. So Steve IRWIN, first stone here of the second. He blanked the first, hoping to be able to take advantage in the second. He's at this moment looking like he may be forced to take a single point as he plays past the guard. Sweep to make it curl. He's going to make corner contact, roll back 12 foot. Shot rock, but wide open.
I thought that it was going to be rolling out. It stopped in a decent place.
So once again, the Carruthers team has the opportunity to force IRWIN. They can hit, stick, maybe roll a little bit center line side. Although a nose hit would not be an easy double kill by any means. My guess with a nose hit, you would see Steve IRWIN try to make the double, hit the outside of the red one, slash it across. We'll see in a moment. This time he does roll to the center line. Steve IRWIN faces a pair, no double kill possibility. So he goes wide side with his in-turn, the left-hander's in-turn.
This will give him a better read on the ice at the same time.
He's taking the ice for the draw to the button, but he's a little bit heavy. He probably has that red one as backing. He won't be thinking that, but it's there. A little bit of sweep from Sabin and Brooks as it comes to the top of the rings. Across the button, but back forefoot for a single point. So Carruthers succeeds in forcing Steve Irwin to take a single after blanking the first. It is 1-0 Irwin over Carruthers after 2. We'll be back with end number 3 from Nipawin in just a moment.
Today's sponsor, PharmaSave. Canada's community pharmacy is proud to support Canada's community game.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Asham Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Asham Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at asham.com.
You can win a pair of tickets for the 2023 Tim Hortons Briar in London or the 2023 BKT Tires and OK Tire Men's Worlds in Ottawa, plus $500. Or maybe equip your team with a set of 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes. And at the same time, support the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum and Curl Manitoba's Curling for Life Endowment Fund. Raffle tickets are available now. 1 for $5, 4 for $10, 10 for $20. Buy online at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen right now.
Well, we're back. Irwin forced to a single. Reid Carruthers a second opportunity to stick to lie to and force Irwin to a single. In the opening end, he did roll out, so Irwin blanked. But on the second, Carruthers was successful with the hit. He stuck lying to, no double kill possibility. Irwin forced to draw. Drew full forefoot, slid across the button. So he placed his attempted center guard, got a little across center, and has been the beneficiary of a Connor Negavan tap to push that Yellow Rock top 12 foot. And Irwin asks Travis Sabin to go around both of them. And as we've seen throughout other games, that rock is curling significantly. His foot of curl in the last 2 or 3 feet of run. Nicely buried, but back of the tee line, and Carruthers probably delighted with the idea of being able to use those 2 guards, drawing to the Travis Sabin yellow stone.
A bit of a tap.
Reid Carruthers will be pretty comfortable with this ice now after 2 completed ends. A team with tremendous amount of experience playing on the arena ice conditions created by Greg Owasco and Matt Rankin, but created across the country by the very fine ice technicians. They do their best to keep conditions similar. Travis Brooks, Sabin and Taylor, the sweepers, and they'll bring it near frozen to the red stone. Part of the objective with this kind of strategy, both teams, is in fact to reduce the size of the scoring area. Now Carruthers will clear off the guards. The scoring area's got a little too small.
Good throw.
Back 12.
Travis Brooks, his second shot of the end.
Yep, hard then.
Trying for a little tap on the yellow stone. Yellow onto red. Red will be stopped on the yellow rock back 8 foot, but it's going to have to move if Irwin's going to make anything happen this end.
Those two are close.
Tough to say whether that is red or yellow, but those rocks aren't going to be around long. I think Reed Carruthers can see an angle red onto yellow that could in fact spill all 3 yellows and leave a couple of reds in the rings. Derek Samagalski, we're going to find out.
Great shot.
Nice shot, Derek.
Beauty.
Not quite the angle that would have fully succeeded, but not unhappy. The Yellowstone that is shot rock is still now behind the tee line and wide open.
And will he want to just hit and roll to the yellow side?
No, you threw good. You said you threw great.
Curl. Straight. Good. Straight. Yep.
Carruthers Stone on the center line, back of the 4 foot. He's hoping to hit and roll, but no, he doesn't roll right out. Carruthers now looking at whether he can roll under and get a double, but indicates in fact bumper weight, a little roll to the outside, so he's sitting in front of the Yellowstone, have it as a catcher.
Yes.
Weight's good.
Clean. Yep. Hard.
Oh, don't do that.
Feather all. Nice throw, Derek.
Good throw, bud.
Good throw.
That's a remarkable set of coincidences to touch all 3 of those stones without really moving any of them.
Move each one 1 inch. That's definitely the wrong side of the inch.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Can you be on the wrong side of 3 different inches at the same time?
That might be metric.
So, momentum turns again and tactics will change. Yeah. With the IRWIN team now looking at a couple of rocks, although they are behind the tee line, they still force Carruthers to a different mindset.
Whoa, guys, it's running heavy. Okay, top 4. Looks heavy. Curl.
Yeah.
Fight the 4. Easy, guys. Okay, yep, curl. Good. Shot.
All right, bud.
Try to make this. Touch high.
So Samagalski now faces 3, playing the run back. Carruthers can see a couple of yellows leaving the rings.
Curl a bit. Nice shot, Derek.
Only one, however. Needed to curl up a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
Going front double. He's not freezing, is he? We're going front.
Across the sheets, Brett Walter gave up a 3 in the opening end, but has scored a deuce on the second, so playing the third, that game is 3-2. blanked first between Riley Smith and Ryan Weeb. Smith with a single in the second, leads 1-0. Braden Calvert with a deuce in the opening end. Chambers with a single in the second. Calvert leads that game 2-1. And Brent Irwin was forced facing two to draw for one on the second end. Leads 1-0 with skip rocks to come here in the third. Things have been going the Irwin way a little bit here the last couple of shots. Opportunity now to try to, at minimum, force Carruthers to a single.
It wasn't one of the choices they were calling.
It really was not. He, with no center guards, they were looking at the pro side miss being the guard, not a rock in the back of the 12-foot.
I like easy.
Easy out turn. It's not going to hook as much
Threw
as
this in the
one.
first end, right?
Yeah, but it ran a bit straight on me in this spot. I'm thinking, let's give this a chance. I think that's there.
Easy, kind of, and maybe for a big half a rock.
Like two-thirds.
Okay.
They both have it set now in their mind what the expectations are.
The objective is an out turn, try to roll under the corner guard. If that happens, he may remove two Yellowstones, but that's certainly not any part of the thought process. Those two in the 12-foot really don't exist in context of Reed Carruthers scoring or not scoring.
Yep.
Missed opportunity for Carruthers, and Irwin the opportunity now to make the hit and roll to force Carruthers to a single. Two rocks to come here in the third end. 2023 Viterra Championship A-side qualifying game between Brent Irwin of Brandon, number 2 seed Reed Carruthers, curling as a representative of the Morris Curling Club, the Cargill Curling Training Center down in Morris. And Irwin, like Carruthers, doesn't get the roll. Makes the nose hit wide open. Carruthers simply has to duplicate his previous shot to score a single. So a successful end in the mind of Steve Irwin, forcing Carruthers to play facing three, has to take a point.
Looks a little bit like Yellowstone National Park right now.
Need a lot of focus on a shot like this. You assume a hit like this wide open is automatic, and generally it is. They need the curl. He's going to get the hit. He's going to get the roll. He's going to roll too far, spins back, gives up a steal of one, and only one. So facing three, Carruthers doesn't get the nose hit he wanted. He gives up the steal of one. Brent Irwin leads Reed Carruthers 2-0 after three. We'll be back with end number 4 in a moment.
We hope you're enjoying this Manitoba Championship curling. Brought to you by Seagram's 83, Manitoba's favorite Canadian whiskey.
At McMunn & Yates, we've always believed that good neighbors make for better communities. McMunn & Yates has everything you need for your next project, right at your fingertips. And McMunnandYates.com will always be there, ready to help.
You work hard to keep it all together. And when you need a little help, we're there. At PharmaSave, we see you.
Live well with PharmaSave.
We're in Neepawa, Manitoba. The 2023 Viterra Championship, the 98th Manitoba Men's Curling Championship. And Ray Ballone, Viterra grain buyer, sits with me. Ray, it's to be part of a tradition that's 98 years old, separate from the marketing value and the sponsorship and so on. It's a neat thing to be part of a tradition that old.
It is. It's part of the culture of Canada. It's been a thread of that fabric forever, and the history is just amazing. To come to an event like this, you see all ages watching. You see all ages participating in the opening ceremonies. We had a lot of the kids from the school in Neepawa leading the teams out and getting autographs. It is exciting.
One of the things when you mention that is a bit special about a rural community, say compared with an event in a bigger center, not only did we have the junior curlers, but we had some young people from the local hockey teams, the youth hockey teams, as part of our placard carriers and so on. And when you think about it, we've taken their arena away from them for a week, and yet here they are still kind of participating and supporting.
And when you're an athlete, you're an athlete. You're going to be interested. And they have been a great help, the Titans.
So Carruthers forced to take a single point. In fact, does not succeed. That's a gentler way of saying failed. Rolled a little too far. Lucky not to have rolled further to give up a steal of 2, but Brent Irwin with a single in 2, steal of 1 in the next end to lead 2-0. We'll keep you posted on the other scores. Braden Calvert, a single on the third end to lead Corey Chambers now 3-1. Ryan Weeb, a point on the third end, tied with Riley Smith, 1-1. Matt Dunstone's final rock of the third end about to be thrown. He faces 2, but a double kill will give him the opportunity to score 3. So Dunstone leads Walter 3-2. Last shot to come there. Connor Negavan, he throws the in-turn hit at a pair of yellow Irwin Stones. 3 Irwin Stones, moves them all but kills only 1, splits the rings. A result that Steve Irwin will be quite delighted with, have a pair of yellow stones either side of the rings.
And now you are correct, it is a pair. Talking about the history, there is a big event coming up with this area has so many people this year being inducted into the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame from Minnedosa, Neepawa, Carberry, Souris. And so you have an event going on in Brandon in May, right?
Well, yeah, the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame banquet. The induction banquet is rarely held outside Winnipeg. It was held in Brandon in 1995 in conjunction with the Ford World Championships. But that's the last time it was held outside Winnipeg. And This year, because there is a significant number of Westman teams, Kelly Robertson's local team, Ray Orr's Minnedosa team, Joyce McDougall's Brandon team, all Canadian champions. Doug Armour's Souris team, Canadian champion. Armour, McDougall, and Orr at the Masters level. Robertson at the senior level. I had Kelly on with us yesterday afternoon and said at the time, and I truly believe that Kelly's 2011 Canadian senior champion team was one of the really very best of the senior teams in Manitoba curling history. In a 4-year period, they played in 7 championship final games. They played the Canadian, or the Manitoba final, Canadian final, and 1 world final. So 7 finals over a 4-year period. A very strong team. And then there's 4 individuals.
It's still looking awful yellow down there.
Three yellow Steve Irwin stones. So Samogolski needing to play the draw. Again, Carruthers with last stone, but Irwin is dictating play to a fair extent so far. Deep 8 foot. Irwin lies 1. Travis Taylor go around the outside.
Does it make it more natural when he's a left-handed thrower on the shot?
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. It's certainly a little bit of an advantage. The other thing they do know, if he stays wide and rubs, he'll end up second stone. But he does not do that. In fact, removes the red. The red being Carruthers' stone. Carruthers faces 4 as Samogolski goes to throw his final stone of this end. He does get to the tee line, shot stone. Irwin still knows he needs to get rid of it. This time he looks at the run back.
In 2016, Reed Carruthers I spent quite a bit of time with him at Ag Days, the big farm show in Brandon. And later on, I taught him lots about grain, I thought. And later on, I did have a chance to talk to Jennifer Jones, and I told him, yeah, I taught Reed everything he knows about grain. She didn't think he knew much still.
The Irwin run back, straight back, bang. Irwin continues to lie 4. His guard rolls over a little bit to the center line, provides maybe a little bit better coverage for Carruthers if he can get corner frozen onto the the Yellowstone.
Derek. Curl side always. Got a curl.
Curl, Derek.
Curl. Curl side, Derek. You gotta go to be buried. Gotta go, Derek. Really gotta go. Bud.
Keep going. Keep going. Get half buried. Come on, boys. Go! Go! Get second! Go! 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 Go!
Well, that one went from really got to go to get it buried to really got to go to get second shot. He came up just that little bit short. Yellow lies too with the house split.
Like he's not giving up, right?
Might be.
What? We're second, but I mean like he's got that. Would he ever play it? Like we were thinking in here, make the guard tough, but almost. We can't be there, right?
So good to be able to hear what they're discussing with the microphones.
The question Steve Irwin asked, would he ever play it? The question, the shot is the tap on the red and roll into the 8-foot. Irwin knows that there's the possibility of making that shot to lie to red.
And if you're back here, it's fine.
Would he ever play it is the question. Down 2 already, it's a bit of a risk-reward situation. But that's for Carruthers' decision in a moment. Irwin sits in the hack to throw his final and in turn for the left-hander. The way to guard against any possibility of Carruthers looking at that is to be lying 3. Deep of the tee line, but yellow does lie 3 as Carruthers, for the second end in a row, comes to the hack to throw his final rock. Facing 3 Irwin Yellowstones. Last time he hit, rolled off to give up a steal of 1. This time he'll draw.
Right there.
And as I said a couple of ends ago, with a wide open hit, virtually an automatic. Thankfully, I didn't say it the second time he had the opportunity for the hit. It was the first time and he did make it. This time he's throwing a draw. 4-foot button area, no backing.
Okay, clean it. You're on the back one. Can't hurt it. Can't hurt it. Go ahead. Okay, that's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Hard there. Attaboy. Beauty. Beauty ramp.
Just enough to settle against that yellow, tap it back. Red scores 1. Carruthers trails 2-1. After 4, we'll be back with the 5th end from our game in Nipawa in just a moment.
Thank you for joining us for this Manitoba Championship draw, brought to you by Seagram's VO. Masterfully blended, distinctly Canadian.
At Viterra, we believe in the power of connection. Our world-leading agriculture network connects producers and consumers to supply top-quality food ingredients each and every day. Our team takes great pride in working closely with farmers to help feed the world. It's something we've been doing for over 100 years. And as an industry leader, we're dedicated to playing a critical role in meeting the needs of a growing world. Because together, we're stronger and achieve more.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
Neepawa, Manitoba, 2023 Viterra Men's Curling Championship. Steve Irwin of Brandon leads Reed Carruthers 2-1 after 4 ends. Irwin blanked the opening end, forced to a single, facing 2 in the second end. Had Carruthers forced to a single, facing 3 in the third end. Carruthers hit and rolled a little too far, gave up a steal of 1. Carruthers again facing 3 in the fourth end, had a draw to the 4-foot circle for a single, made that shot, so it is 2-1 Carruthers. But fair to say, Ray, that through the game, the Irwin team has had the initiative most of the way.
Yeah, it is going very well for them, taking advantage of little breaks, and they add up.
Little breaks often is a euphemism for the misses made by the opposition. It's a gentler way of saying that. Carruthers plays that guard not quite on the center line. Irwin right behind it into the top of the 4-foot. I'd mentioned the Matt Dunstone was in the hack to throw his final stone of the third end. Had a double kill opportunity. If he could stick, would be for a 3. He made the double but rolled out. Dunstone with a deuce, so he leads Brett Walter 5-2 after 3. Ryan Weeb has stolen a pair on the fourth end, so he leads Riley Smith 3-1. The Calvert game still just finishing the fourth end. That game 3-1 for Calvert over Corey Chambers. Travis Sabin, immediate call for sweep. That suggests that probably the release was not quite as pure as it needed to be. Does come right to that red stone, tap it back. Gives Carruthers the rock that he wanted with his first call, a rock sitting in front of the yellow stone behind the guard. Ray, you're very much involved with something called the Canadian Food Grains Bank. What's that?
Oh, I do a lot of support and volunteer work with the Canadian Food Grains Bank. It's people, it's a group of 15 churches across Canada, church denominations, that all have one thing in mind: to be able to help people feed themselves in other countries like India and Africa. And these days, after COVID especially, even in Canada, food is a very big concern for so many people. And so we help them to have to raise better crops, to fight the climate a little bit, to when there's drought or too much water coming, and it's working. That people are able to grow a much better crop when they're using some of these systems, and they just love it when they know that there's somebody out here that cares.
So it's for want of a better word, an education kind of program, or a training program, or?
Yes, like farmers in Canada, you adopt other better ways of farming as things go along, and we're able to show them that if they cover the ground with mulch, that's the most basic thing. Cover it and have the seeds come up. The water will stay in the ground, so it keeps it moisture there, and the soil doesn't wash away, and that crop will yield at least 40% more. So they have a demonstration. We'll have one plot that's done that way and one that is not, and then people come in and see it and they believe it, and then those farmers teach other farmers. And then we've got it even so that they can store the grain longer. Normally they would have to sell it right away if they had an excess, but we've got PICS bags that will store it for 2 or 3 months without rodents or any weevils get into it, and then they can sell, like farmers here want to sell at a higher price at a different time, and that allows them, and it is making a difference.
It's important work.
It's nothing makes me feel better than to hear some of the success stories that we're able to help with.
So the run back by
He just gave us the center guard.
Brooks removes one stone, but still leaves that guard a couple of red stones. Carruthers, of course, does not have last rock here, so his primary objective to force a single, love to steal. So I'm assuming, Ray, that it's a personal project for you, but Viterra as an employer has to be supportive of anyone who, whether they're volunteering in the curling world or they're volunteering in important work like that, your employer has to be supportive in some way.
Oh, very much so. In this particular project, we've got several elevators across the prairies that have land around them, and that's one of the things that's hard for the traditional food greens bank projects is to get land. So we might give them like 20 acres around the elevator, and the group farmers get together and raise a crop there, and it's a great feeling with on both sides that we can help that way. I had an ugly sweater that I bought for $2. I brought it. We challenged people to wear it for a day because it was so ugly. I didn't know it was ugly at the time, and that thing. Partly through a big banquet at Viterra, we raised the federal government matches about 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 funds that we raise. So that sweater now is worth $70,000. It would look good on you.
I certainly hope it's insured then. So it is, in addition to being that education and project training, it's also a direct charitable kind of money-raising project as well.
Yes, and the different denominations will support each other. If one doesn't have a project, we can use the funds from there. So it's an amazing, I was on the board for 11 years, the national board, 11 years of a 3-year term, and it was great to see that the amount of cooperation and with the end goal to end hunger.
Well, it's important work, and thank you for doing it. If the concept resonates with someone, where can they look for some information?
It's easy to find on the website. The denomination I work through, a group of them, is Tier Fund, but there's also the Canadian Food Grains Bank. They have a very good website that you can get caught up on, and there's always different ways to help.
So for the third time in a row, the IRWIN team tries the run back. This time they run it straight through without touching anything. Carruthers, a couple of rocks in the 4-foot. Looking now at, is it possible to be thinking about a steal?
He's playing this.
As well as the force.
I love it if he freezes.
I know, so that's, like this, it's not an easy triple. Like I guess we error on guarding 7.
Okay, I love that.
You like that shot?
Yeah, so just cross the center line kind of thing. Okay.
There's just no question. You have to say that Connor Negevin has the ability to provide very positive reinforcement. I've not yet heard him say anything except, I love that. Yeah.
And it is important. You don't want to have controversy as you're going to throw the rock.
So skip rocks to come. Carruthers, having scored on the 4th end, throws the first of skip stones, looking at 3 of his own rocks in the rings. Trying to get the guard in the perfect spot.
Okay, line's good. Room. Room there. Where are you for weight? Okay. Looks in.
Curl side.
No.
It's going to slide a little deeper than they want. It's going to be very close to sliding right to the 4-foot. In fact, near perfect freeze.
So ideally they wanted the guard, but the freeze might be the second best rather than halfway.
Well, yeah, if he's 2 or 3 feet short, the run back gives you the opportunity to work some angles and remove a couple of 3 stones. In this instance, that rock is so tight that those kinds of angles don't exist. And Taylor and Irwin very much in conversation about what do we do with this. In the end, they're going to smack it. I don't know if that's a technical word or not, but I think it actually fits the situation. So you heard Steve Irwin say we've got to peel them out to have a chance to play for 1. So again, the outturn hit with some pace on it.
A high hard one.
Well, the yellow settles in the edge of the 8-foot, so that takes the back red rock out of the equation. 2 reds sitting side by side, certainly a better situation than existed previous.
Advantage Carruthers now?
Well, I think they're still very much working on the how do we force them to a single.
I think so.
I don't think the red rock setup really is conducive to the steel without a miss.
Right on the arm.
I guess like if I go here, it's pretty good too, right?
Yeah, we just need to be...
Yeah, crossing there. Okay, so... middle plus.
I was thinking here.
Yeah, that looks good.
Prop, full 8.
Dead in front of the 8 is good.
Yeah.
Dead in front of like the top of the middle one.
So you heard that bit of conversation. Reed Carruthers and Connor Negavan agreeing if they get a little too deep here, Steve Irwin is going to hit it again because there's just enough space there that it probably, there's an opportunity to bounce all 3 rocks out if they're poorly positioned. So.
Okay, line's good. Okay, need
Carruthers looking for a rock, top 12-foot, lined up, full 8-foot.
Full 8-foot line's great. Line's good, full 8. No, not heavy. How heavy? Here's okay. Close, yep, hard. Line!
But once again, too deep, triple kill. If such is automatic, this one's pretty much automatic. There's a triple kill to lie 2. That rock needed to be, as they said, on the R in the Viterra. Nice of them to use your logo, your sign as a...
An R for Ray.
Yeah. So, Steve Irwin, with now his in turn. There's goes 1, there's goes 2, there's goes 3 and 4. Actually, a bonus, a quadruple kill for Steve Irwin as he lies 2. Takes a 4-1 lead over Reed Carruthers as we go to the 5th end break.
You can support your curling club or the curling club in your community by buying tickets now in Curl Manitoba's online 50/50. After you win the big prize in the March 31st draw, 100% of the proceeds will be dispersed to the curling clubs of Manitoba for their use as needed. All you have to do is be sure to click the button to assign your ticket purchase to the curling club you wish to support. To purchase your curling club's 50/50 tickets, go online to fundingchange.ca/curlmanitoba or scan the QR code on your screen now.
It means coming together, helping one another, being there, showing support. That's community. Getting together with your chums you want to curl with.
It's important to volunteer, help out as much as we can.
I love curling.
I love curling. RME, proud sponsor of Curl Manitoba and the Scotties Women's Provincials. With 10 locations in Manitoba, RME is your preferred Case IH equipment dealer. RME, right by you.
Curl Manitoba is proudly sponsored by Manitoba Pork, locally grown, globally preferred.
Why not? Just watch. Why not? Keep scrolling, eyes slide. Why not?
As a broadcaster and Hall of Fame football player, I'm constantly in the lab of life. For 15 years, my friends at Knott Auto Corp have been pioneers as well.
Why not?
Introducing Winnipeg Car Lab, custom car wraps, graphics, and auto
Why
services. Winnipeg, why not get in the lab?
Curling in the small town part of Manitoba is really big in the winter. It's something for the community to do, and it really brings the community together. We can hold annual events like our Bonspiels and our weekly nights. It's really something to do for everyone in the community. You can do it from any age.
Where can you find handmade delicious pizza, classic burgers, scrumptious salads, and the finest Manitoba-sourced pressure-cooked fried chicken? From small towns to big cities with 38 locations, Chicken Chef is comfort food you can count on. We're your made in Manitoba chicken choice, and pizza choice, and salad choice, and so much more. Chicken Chef, bring your appetite. We'll take care of the rest.
You work hard to keep it all together. And when you need a little help, we're there. At PharmaSave, we see you.
Live well with PharmaSave.
You can win a pair of tickets for the 2023 Tim Hortons Brier in London or the 2023 BKT Tires and OK Tire Men's Worlds in Ottawa, plus $500. Or maybe equip your team with a set of 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes. And at the same time, support the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum and Curl Manitoba's Curling for Life Endowment Fund. Raffle tickets are available now. 1 for $5, 4 for $10, 10 for $20. Buy online at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen right now. You can get your tickets now for the Progressive 50-50 in support of the Neepawa Curling Club and the Yellowhead Center by scanning the QR code on your screen now. The final draw will be February 12th at 3:45. Tickets are 1 for $3, 2 for $5, 5 for $10, or 12 for $20.
At McMunn & Yates, we've always believed that good neighbors make for better communities. McMunn & Yates has everything you need for your next project, right at your fingertips. And McMunnandYates.com will always be there, ready to help.
Back in the Yellowhead Center in Neepawa, Manitoba, the 2023 Viterra Curling Championship. The game, our feature game this morning, the number 2 seed, the defending champion Reed Carruthers, had a blanked first and gave up 1 on the second, stole 1 on the third, forced Carruthers to 1 on the fourth, and has just now made a spectacular triple kill for 2, a shot that really is worth looking at again.
I think it was a triple. It was 4 of them.
So here we go. it was a triple to kill to score the two. The fourth one was a bonus for glory, but it didn't matter. However, Carruthers had slid just a little bit too deep with his rock into the top of the 4-foot, needed to be short in the 8-foot circle to get some cover on that. It was still going to leave the possible double kill, but when he got as deep as he did into the 4-foot circle, it was a virtually automatic triple kill. So long as IRWIN hit the broom, he did. All three rocks moved. Got the bonus fourth in the corner, but stuck for two. So Brent IRWIN, no stranger to this competition. He, with this team, has curled together for many years. They have, and Steve IRWIN will play the guard here, but they've played to the final 8 before. They have the opportunity to qualify, and we'll see if they can hold on is the wrong word, because holding on is a recipe for failure. As a matter of fact, they need to continue to attack. They've got Reed Carruthers in some trouble. IRWIN lying 2 in the center of the rings. Carruthers has got the 2 corner guards he'd like. The close one perhaps not positioned quite where he would want it. But IRWIN plays the guard. Carruthers is going to have to clean it up now.
Hard.
So it's a Negevin. Run back guard. Just slides past the 2 yellows in the top of the 8-foot circle. As we look across the other sheets at the 5th end break, the number 4 seed, Corey Chambers from Deer Lodge, trailing the number 5 seed, Braden Calvert and his Fort Rouge team. The number 3 seed, Ryan Weeb from Fort Rouge, leads Riley Smith from Thistle 5-1. Matt Dunstone, Brett Walter still playing here in the 5th end. Walter throwing his last stone. Has an opportunity perhaps to steal. Walter scored 2 on the 4th to trail 5-4. Travis Brooks removes the rock tight to the rings.
At this time of year, we find that a lot of curling fans seem to also migrate down into the southern states. We're getting a couple messages from people watching in Texas.
We really do. It's great to be talking to those folks. Although I'm going to go right out on a limb and say I'm not so sure why, if you're gone south for the sun and the heat, what the heck are you doing inside watching the curling game? But
curling is contagious once it's in your blood. How do you get rid of it?
Okay. Weight's great. Where? Top 8. Curl a bit. Curl. T-line. Curl. Gotta go curl.
so Carruthers, using his corner guard, leaves the 2 yellow stones alone. Not fully buried. So IRWIN will ask his 3rd now, Travis Taylor, to play the tap on that red stone, get rid of it. And Carruthers gets the miss that he's needed for a couple of ends. Need to now take advantage of the miss to build at least a 2 score.
Yeah, that's right. Like, I was almost thinking this.
Okay.
Across the way, Matt Dunstone with his final stone, facing 2 hits and rolls out. So Brett Walter scores a single, steals a single. That game at 5-5 after 5.
Issue with this is you might leave the yellow onto it.
Okay, whatever you
Go
like,
same
Crump.
spot, freeze the nose.
Just throw the exact same throw. I didn't sweep it at all.
Now, as a sweeper, I truly would be delighted with that, being able to say to the guy, just don't make me sweep again. I'm not sure Connor really has got that mindset. He doesn't mind
Small
sweeping.
bounce!
Line's close.
Small bounce!
Line's good. Line's good.
Weight's good.
Clean. Clean.
Weight's good.
Line. Keep going. That's pretty good here. Good shot.
Yes, that is pretty good. And it's interesting, single word communication, and yet all three guys know exactly what the message is and the message they need to communicate.
Exactly. It is not their first rodeo.
So Travis Taylor will try to Well, I'm going to say they caught me by surprise. Understand what the call was. The call was to play the hit off his own Yellowstone into the Reds, but just ticked it out and has truly turned the game now in favor of the Carruthers team.
The end, anyway.
Need the shot, but Carruthers team down 3 would have come into this end hoping to score a couple.
Heavy!
Yep.
3 may now be in play.
Yep. Whoa. Girl. Better roll it.
Didn't get the roll and has left Steve Irwin the opportunity to play another triple kill. And one truly not that much more difficult than the one on the previous end.
Risby, I wanted to see if you know a curling term. The word is regulation. I thought of it. I remembered it on the way here. You can think about it as you watch the shot.
It is the Steve Irwin, the left-hander's out turn. He makes the contact. He does make contact with 2. Live shot rock. Say it again.
Regulation.
Regulation.
You got it. Repeating it is different than knowing what it means. Regulation is, they taught us when we first started curling the process of any, for example, the rock where it meets the ice surface, it melts that ice just slightly and it allows for the movement.
See, so you had to jump in and explain it. I was going to explain that to you in a little more intricate detail, but since you took the initiative away from me, I'm not going to play anymore.
I totally apologize.
So it is Carruthers. He does still have the opportunity to play a tap, a roll back to center to set up a deuce, which would have been what he would have been trying for at the outset. Needed that curl, came straight across, didn't get enough of it. Rolled straight across the rings, out of play.
He's probably going to make that, right? We could hit it. Like, what do we see, half?
So we saw this shot 2 ends ago.
And really, it's like you said, it's just a mental guard.
Passed by the outside of the guard, hit the outside of the rock for sure, but he might even be able to get to the nose of it.
Mine did finish in there.
That way or the other, right? Yeah.
when we're curling in Minnedosa, we just hope for the hit, and wherever it rolls, we're fine.
And I think in this instance, Steve would say the same thing. If I make contact with the redstone, wherever it ends up is good. So that final IRWIN stone of the end underway. Makes just enough contact to kill it and stick on the outside corner. So an end that looked so promising a few shots ago for the Reed Carruthers team. Now he'll be happy to go to a blank. Carruthers with the wide in turn, rock wide open, biting the 12-foot circle. And he does blank the end. So at the end that was so promising eventually results in a blanked end by Reed Carruthers, and he'll try again on the next end, and we'll have that for you in just a moment.
Today's sponsor, PharmaSave. Canada's community pharmacy is proud to support Canada's community game.
At McMunn & Yates, we've always believed that good neighbors make for better communities. McMunn & Yates has everything you need for your next project, right at your fingertips. And McMunnandYates.com will always be there, ready to help.
You can support your curling club or the curling club in your community by buying tickets now in Curl Manitoba's online 50/50. After you win the big prize in the March 31st draw, 100% of the proceeds will be dispersed to the curling clubs of Manitoba for their use as needed. All you have to do is be sure to click the button to assign your ticket purchase to the curling club you wish to support. To purchase your curling club's 50/50 tickets, go online to fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba. Or scan the QR code on your screen now.
Well, after looking at a possible 3 early in the end, on the 6th, Reed Carruthers ends up blanking the end. Needed a hit and roll away from the center line to separate the rocks. Didn't get it. Steve Irwin, double kill, could have had a triple.
That's sometimes how farming goes. You have a terrific spring and you put the crop in, everything's looking good, and then something happens.
Yeah. It's an interesting analogy. It's pretty accurate. The best laid plans work for a while, but all of a sudden Mother Nature brings reality to you.
It's what's in the bin at the end that counts.
And Reed Carruthers and his team, Derek Samagalski, Connor Negovan, they've been down the track enough to know that down 3 with 4 ends to play is not an insurmountable lead.
Yeah, you got to go, Derek. You got to see, bud.
A deuce and a steal. Again, using the McMunn & Yates marker as a guide for where they want the guard. Again, that last bit of curl as it dies moves it off the end of that, a little wider than they wanted.
Travis Brooks, about to throw, has he and I used to work together. I'm a little bit older, but in the grain business, you can be any age too, just like curling.
You're out there. Where? Got it, curl. Curl! All right, guys, roll it. Go. Okay.
Well, a fortuitous little rub there. That rock hung wide, didn't quite get into the curl spot. And Carruthers sees it as an opportunity. He'll go around that guard, tight center guard, try to get to the shot stone on the forefoot. Looking across again, Ryan Wiebe, the number 3 seed, has stolen 2 more on the 5th end, and he leads Riley Smith 5-1.
Clean. Stay close. Let's stay high. Beauty. Good shot.
Well, a red stone top forefoot, 2 yellow backers. Causes Irwin to pause to think a little bit.
Half. See if you can shoot her back. Heel.
The angle is not a good one to run the yellow one through, and besides which that red guard lies in the path of a draw to the button, so he's trying to get rid of both of them at the same time. Partial success. That Yellowstone obviously still very much in the way of the draw to the button.
Yeah. Full speed, same as even throwing to the corners. The curl's nice, yeah. You can ask for more.
And the button is still, with the amount of movement we have, it's still very accessible.
I think it is around that outside, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of your rocks, but. I got heavy.
Oh, room.
Heavy.
Lots of room.
Back 8.
Stay with it.
Okay, we can freeze the back one.
Close. Line. Whoa. Line.
Bouncing.
Line. Gotta go.
A little heavy. The call there was really to go wide behind that corner guard. That was never going to happen, so they did pick up the sweep to bring it back to the Yellowstone.
And he's just going to get in there. Out.
Not unhappy if the yellow one in the back 8-foot leaves, as well as 2 reds. It's the slashed, leaves that 1 red stone in the forefoot.
He must have seen my arrows.
Like that.
Okay. My first thought was around the red again.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the shot. Yeah, just like 6 feet is perfect. 6 feet off is good.
So again, the Carruthers team not unhappy with the positioning of that red rock in the 4-foot circle. They'll try to use the corner guard.
Weight's good.
Key to the shot being not to set anything up
Line's good.
Weight's good.
in the form of a double kill.
Line's good. Line. Clean.
does just nicely slide by it.
Great shot.
Not a huge fan of that.
Now, I think if we got out the dictionary, I'm not a huge fan of is the same as saying there's no way we're going to do this.
No chance. Let's talk about it.
Key point in the game, and the IRWIN team will take a timeout.
So, Resby, is the Hall of Fame induction in Brandon, is it open to anyone if they want to come and support?
Absolutely it is. Yes, the ticket sales and so on will start soon. We're not, we're just finalizing details with the Victoria Inn, which will be the host site. Traditionally, our event in Winnipeg has had numbers in the range of 150 to 170 or 80 people. We anticipate
I'm not a huge
that size, perhaps even a few more, just from talking with folks around. We know that the reality of life in Manitoba is such that
straight through the hole, but then,
for an event in Winnipeg with this group of teams, there would have been 8 or 10 people probably travel with them to celebrate. We anticipate in Brandon there might be 3 or 4 times that number travel with each of the teams, a little closer, a little more realistic. Don't have to worry about whether do I have to have a hotel room, stay overnight, that sort of thing. We know that home is close. So yes, wide open to the public, and we hope and invite the entire Western Manitoba curling community to be there with us to celebrate
like I said, I don't like this at
some
all.
pretty special people in the curling world. I know that people who've curled against all of these teams over the years are very happy for them and would love to be with them for the celebration.
Outside of this?
Yeah,
I know 4 of the Rayor team will be here with us
What are
tomorrow.
you thinking, center or hair less?
I think a hair less. It's going to stay dead straight.
Okay.
Nose might get away with.
Not a fan of nose.
Yeah, no, neither am I.
I don't know if you're allowed to say this anymore, but Rayor also has his missus. His wife Cheryl is also being inducted.
Yeah, it's a rare occasion when that kind of thing happens. It's purely a coincidence, obviously, that 2 teams featuring individuals, are together in that situation. That raw shot simply didn't work out the way the IRWIN team wanted. Although they have got the angle on those 2 reds so that a nose hit probably removes them both. So Carruthers has to worry about that.
And he called time.
Carruthers is going to take the timeout because they are here at a critical point in the game. Carruthers' team does have last rock. They need to figure out how to score.
Yeah, he just threw it though with that back 8 on his
at
first
least
one,
a couple points.
Back 8 you threw on your first one.
But can we get more than 2?
Yeah. Then that lines up and that's.
I can probably tap it to a freeze, eh?
Yeah.
I'm seeing like 3/4 on this side. Yeah, because you don't want to go too far because then you can actually go bing through the hole.
Yeah, you're just basically like a hair.
Like I think we can get a better result if you nose versus going too much this way. Like because nose you still do a little feather and it's okay. So I'm seeing, Rob, like 3/4 with the tap.
Just the same shot you threw on your first one, isn't it?
Yeah. In turn, you're looking like back 8-ish. Yeah. You added, yeah. Yeah. Well, you could throw it the same. I could give you more ice.
Coach Rob Meekin is
good as well.
at the side of the sheet.
7/8-ish. Yeah.
But Reed Carruthers very much controlling the conversation.
Rob, just the same throw as your first.
Reed is a teacher in real life, and he was hoping to school the IRWIN team today.
The shot call as you heard Reed saying, we need to tap the red stone that is at the top of the forefoot, tap it back, maybe frozen to the yellow one in the back, but certainly back behind the tee line, and roll just a little bit. They want to not, I would suggest they want to not quite touch the E in the Viterra, or just barely, leaving an angle so that the two reds would be angled back onto that yellow in the back of the 8-foot circle. Very much a precision shot, a finesse shot.
Back line! Back line! Back line!
Maybe just a little heavier than they anticipated, but the sweep now to get that bump and the angle on the roll. I think we can upgrade that from pretty good to holy Dinah, what a wonderful shot. I don't know if that's technical talk either, but
in some countries.
But he got, as you see, he just touched the corner of that E, as I said, and that red onto yellow just makes it a very difficult shot to remove both red stones. The third red stone is going to stay for sure. Steve Irwin hit. And he does succeed in removing both of those red stones. The angle was right, but the separation between them was enough to allow the angle to change after the impact. So Steve Irwin saves the day a bit there.
As you said, that third red stayed. I thought it would be moving. It didn't even get touched.
Okay, but
good speed here.
15-ish.
But once again, coming into the end, Carruthers would have been happy to score a 2. He still has that opportunity.
That spot we were drawing earlier that was
Redstone back forefoot is pretty much covered by the yellow off center in the 8, and now he'll try to go top corner of the forefoot in behind the yellow guard.
Line's good. A little bit of room, Derek. Where are you, bud? Okay, that's what you want. You got too much room. Can't be behind it. Whoa.
Curl side.
Line's great. Just bite the forefoot. Okay, that's okay. No. Atta boy.
So he does get that rock nicely buried. You can see the angle there. There's no access to the shot just delivered.
Chance we're only getting one anyways. This isn't the easiest throw though, is it, to pick that? You guys like just picking that out? It's either that or this.
So didn't take very long. Steve Irwin could see the run back, yellow onto the two reds, possibility of a double, possibility of hitting and sticking. But recognizing that that's a longer odds kind of shot, they've decided they will simply pick the rock out of the back of the forefoot and allow Carruthers to draw for a second. And makes that shot. A little bit of panic sweep there, as if maybe he had turned it a bit, but lots of room past the rock high 8 foot. Does give Carruthers that opportunity to put the second rock in the rings. And to quote my Streamcast partner from a few days ago at the Scotties, this is simply a shot that must be made.
Same line. Same line. Do you need the
Wait,
backing?
Dan.
Okay, clean it then. Do you need the backing?
Well,
The good news is they do have backing. The bad news is they're not going to get to the backing. They're going to over curl, slide right through. Lost opportunity for Reed Carruthers, opportunity to draw for two, and scores only a single point. Steve Irwin and his Brandon team now nicely in control with a 4-2 lead and last rock. As we go to the eighth end, we'll have that eighth end for you in just a moment from Nipawa.
We hope you're enjoying this Manitoba Championship Sunrise Morning Draw, brought to you by Sunrise Credit Union, building a brighter future together.
RME, proud sponsor of Curl Manitoba and the Scotties Women's Provincials. With 10 locations in Manitoba, RME is your preferred Case IH equipment dealer. RME, right by you.
Where can you find handmade delicious pizza, classic burgers, scrumptious salads, and the finest Manitoba-sourced pressure-cooked fried chicken? From small towns to big cities, with 38 locations, Chicken Chef is comfort food you can count on. We're your made in Manitoba chicken choice, and pizza choice, and salad choice, and so much more. Chicken Chef, bring your appetite. We'll take care of the rest.
Well, a lost opportunity for Reed Carruthers. Built the end on the 7th, had a draw to the 4-foot circle for a second point. Just a little heavy on the draw, or not quite heavy enough, depending on your perspective. He had a little bit of backing, which, of course, at the level of play, you're not wanting to play to backing. But over curled, past the backing, slid out through the back, actually into the 12-foot circle on a draw to the 4-foot. So it was over heavy all the way, and scores only a single point. Steve Irwin and his Brandon team with a 4-2 lead and with last rock as we play the eighth end of this A-side qualifier game from the